So manifestation to me is everything because if you don't see that vision, it's like building a house, right? If you were to walk through a house and it's just a couple beams and you got some wood around, and then the architects bring you through. Here's where the bathroom is gonna be. Here's where the kitchen is gonna be. Like you have to have that vision. You have to understand that that's what it is. Like that's what we're doing. So if you're not manifesting that shit and you're feeling negative or you're feeling like it's not gonna happen, you're gonna bring yourself closer to that thought every time. So if you're thinking, yo, I'm gonna fail, every time you have that thought, you're just inching closer to failing, right? Every time you're thinking, all right, I'm gonna be successful, I'm gonna get everything I want, you bring yourself closer to it. So I do believe in that a lot. Like The Strangest Secret is a book that I've read multiple times, and that shit, is so simple. It's just like I think where people misconstrue it though is people think manifestation is just the idea of thinking, right? I'm gonna think something into existence. And they discredit the work. So it's like, all right, I'm just gonna keep thinking about it and I'm gonna be super positive, but you also gotta wake up and get the fuck at it every day. You gotta go. You gotta go harder than you went yesterday. So I think that's where I don't love to run around saying just manifest, because it's like, yo, manifest plus hard work every time. Like you can't leave that work element out. And I see that a lot. It's like, yo, I've been thinking positive, I've been manifesting. It's like, yeah, but what you've been physically doing while you're manifesting, right? If you're not waking up every day and running that extra mile or doing that extra couple hours in the studio, whatever it is that you're doing, nothing's gonna happen. So it's the idea of like the combination of manifesting and waking up early, getting to it, and making sure that you're working constantly. Sacrifice is, I would say, more important than manifesting, because people don't that's the one thing that people don't equate, right? We're gonna get where we want to go, and we got these dreams, and we're gonna manifest it, and we're gonna work hard, right? But on the balance of that, I think everything everything is a sacrifice. So it's like that time that you need to spend working hard at manifesting might be time that you could spend with your family, right? It might be time that you could go do other things, and you have to literally understand, like, this is it, right? If you're gonna put in these hours right now, there will be some shit on the other end of it. But I feel like people don't. That's where people fail. I think in the idea of not being able to sacrifice certain things, right? It's like, all right, I'm gonna go to the studio for 3 days and work on this project, and then on that fourth day, I'm a skate out, right? That fourth day might be where you make the craziest record, like, and it's just like, if that other thing isn't adding value to your overall goal, then you got to sacrifice it, right? If like this is gonna add value, if I come here and link with y'all and I do this interview, even though I'm real busy today, right? I'm gonna make sure I squeeze that in, because I gotta sacrifice that time and push it. You know what I'm saying? I could be watching Netflix right now or just smoking a blunt, doing nothing. But people don't really understand that, and a lot of people don't have what it takes to endure this. You got to endure that shit and make as many sacrifices as you can. You know what I'm saying? People just waste time. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of, especially with the internet, with social media, like in today's day and age, I feel like people waste the most time they ever had. So you got to sacrifice some of that, and you got to put that time towards work, man. So that's a main component. That's a key. Happiness, man. I'm still trying to figure that one out. As far as happiness, I'm still trying to figure that one out. I saw a comedian, recently. He's from India, and he said, my dad told me, I would say, man, I'm not happy. I'm sad or whatever. Like, and in their culture, he said the idea of happiness is crazy. Like you're surviving. You're here, you're eating food, and you're breathing, right? You should just feel blessed that you are alive. So even the idea of happiness to some cultures is like, what? You happy, you here. You should just be content that you are living and you are blessed enough to wake up today. So happiness is a tricky one, right? Sometimes I don't know what it is. It's like every time I feel like this is happiness, as soon as I gain that happiness, I'm on to the next thing. So for me personally, I got to work on understanding that, and understanding that happiness lives inside of you. That's the main thing I would say about it. It lives inside of you. So if you ain't happy now, chances are, whatever you get in life or wherever you go, you're not gonna be happy, right? It's like you have to have that in you and learn it. And I'm learning that because I attach happiness to certain things and certain accolades or whatever it may be. So that's something I struggle with, is saying like, what is happiness? You know what I'm saying? What is it to me? I could say right now that it's, $1 million and a number one song, but I can't attach that to that. You know what I'm saying? Because I might get that and still be like, man, I ain't happy enough. I need another number one song. I need this. So just trying to find that balance and saying, you know, having it in you without attaching anything to it, and say, man, I'm happy just to be here. I'm happy that I woke up this morning. I'm happy that my vision works and my hearing works and I'm healthy and all that. So yeah, that's a tough one though. That's one that I'm trying to figure out. What is happiness? And it's subjective to every person. So balance. I think balance is the main thing. That another thing I struggle with is like the balance, right? You got sacrifice, you just asked me about, and then you got manifestation, right? So how do you take those two things and balance them, and feel like you're equaled out in the world? That's stuff that I don't quite know either. I'm gonna keep it real. I'm gonna keep it real. Right now, I'm just going so hard. Sometimes I go so hard, it's like I don't sleep for 2 days, and I miss out on certain things, right? I miss out on some of the beautiful moments of life and things that should just be naturally there. So balance is fucking important, man. I mean, all these things you just said, right? If you could master them, you could master the art of life, I think, right? Balance and happiness. But yeah, I think balance is super important, even down to sleep. Right, I don't sleep enough, right? So you got to balance your sleep with your work schedule. You got to balance your family time with your grind time. So it's very important. That shit is probably those three things right there, the whole gamut. Like you could figure that out, you could take over the world. Positive mindset is I feel like that's probably the most important, because there's too much negativity in the world. If you let it seep in, like it's like a hole in a boat. If you let that water come in a little bit, you're gonna sink your whole shit. You know what I'm saying? So keeping that positive mind state through everything, and understanding who you are at the core. Just understanding, like I told you, like I do music. That's what I was always. That's how I was brought up in my mind. Like, this is what I'm gonna do. So just not letting anything get in the way of that is so important, man. That's it. Keeping that positivity constantly, no matter what is thrown at you, using that shit as a shield. You know what I mean? Having a significant other, the way I do in the game, is definitely, some people side eye you, but it's 2022, right? So it's like, I always say, it's cool to love your girl, bro. It's cool to be in a relationship and have that love and understanding with someone. So at the end of the day, I think it was probably a bigger thing back in the antiquated era of like the 90s, early 2000s. But like, again, like I said, whether it's my marital status with my wife, or me maybe being goofy or saying something, it's like I just always try to be me 100%. So I'm not gonna hide any aspects of my life, because this is what the people want. Like if they don't like me for the fact that and I'm not technically married. That's my fiance, so we just got engaged recently. But like, I'm proud of that, and I love that, and I promote that. So it's like I promote that to the fans. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of my fans are people who are in relationships, and they kind of see us. I've been with her since I was 16 years old. Since we were kids. So she came up with me every step of the way, and I think people kind of admire that, and I love that. I love to spread that. I think it's positive to say, hey, if you got someone with you that is out there shooting with you, and you guys can, it's called couplepreneurs. Like, we started up a company together. So that's my business partner. That's my wife. That's my everything. And I love to say that, and it doesn't make me feel awkward. It never changes. It's like, if a girl finds me attractive or whatever, that's cool. That's part of the game. But today's day and age, my girl is a manager in the music industry. She probably get as many DMs and dick pics and shit on her social media. So at the end of the day, no matter what industry you're in, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? It's like you just have to have trust. You have to have an understanding with that person. You guys got to be on the same wavelength. Like, if a girl wants to take a picture and wants to hug up on me, she's excited to take the picture, because that's success to us. It's like, wow, we came up with nothing and we tried to get everybody to know this music. So when I get that type of attention, she's like, dope, we're winning, and I'm willing to share that with her and promote her. She's an artist as well. She's a fashion designer. So it's like, I just want to promote her. I want her to win while I win, and us both to do it together. You know what I'm saying? That's really the main thing. And you know, people, especially more so in hip hop, is this kind of stigma of like, oh, you know, you should be single, or you know, relationships don't work. But I don't think that that's necessarily true. It's like relationships typically don't work because I don't think people have the bond I have, or they have the strength to rep it the way I rep it. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, if that answers the question, that's really, you know, that's really the main thing, is like just trust, loyalty, understanding one another. And you know, if I was out there doing fuck shit, then it'd be a different story. But I hold my shit down because I care about it. And if I didn't, she wouldn't be in my life, and if she didn't, I wouldn't be in her life. So it's yeah. But people try to fuck with it a lot. You know, people like to poke it, like to play. Like before, you were like, oh, you know, you like. Either way, that shit doesn't it doesn't bother me, and I think we're both just strong in what we have. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's the same thing as you said, just manifesting, staying focused, keeping that positive mindset. It's like the same thing. It's like I don't want this shit without having that love in my life that I have now. I don't want to. That's one sacrifice I'm not willing to make. Right? Is to talk about sacrifice. Like I'm not willing to sacrifice the love of my life for anything. So I'm gonna make sure I get both. You know what I mean? I'm gonna have that love, and I'm gonna have my success in my career. And she's gonna be there to help that as I'm there to help her. So it kind of works, man. We just push through it. Yo, what up? It's Jehry Robinson from Strange Music. You checking out 247hh.com.